Okay, so to start off with, I have a piece of watercolor paper, and this piece measures 5 7/8 by 4 1/8, and we're going to trim this down later. Okay, so I'm going to do some sponging. I want some sponging to be, I guess, from the top and then gradually get lighter as it goes towards the bottom and the center. So I'm going to start with my lightest color first, which is Bermuda Bay, and I'm going to sponge off my cardstock first and then onto it. So do kind of like want nice and dark on the outside and light as it goes in. So my next color I've got here is Pretty Peacock. And same concept. So I'm not going to go all the way up this time because I want to keep some of that nice Bermuda Bay colour. I'm blending that in with my Bermuda Bay. And then lastly, I'm going to add some black to my edges. Okay, so this here is what my cardstock now looks like. So I have an aqua painter here and I have some paper towel. And what I'm going to do is I want to create a bouquet effect. And to do that, I'm simply using the water in my aqua painter just to draw some circles like bubbles. And then I can blot them with my paper towel. Some of them I won't blot at all. I'll just leave wet. But others I will. So I'm just going to go ahead and create different size circles. Okay, so I am going to dry that off with a heat gun. So I'm going to come in and do some more circles now. And this time I'm going to like overlap some of them to create like a different layer. That'd be pretty cool. And I'll blot some again and some I won't blot. Some I'll leave just to dry naturally. And then lastly, I'm just going to put a little bit of a flicker of water. Okay, so I have with me here a colourful season stamp set. This is out of the normal annual catalogue, and I'm going to use these snowflake images right here on this image. Okay, so I've already got them mounted to my block. And we're going to do some heat embossing. So I am going to just run my embossing buddy all the way over my cardstock. Now I want to check to make sure that it's all completely dry. So I am just going to sprinkle on some embossing powder. Just to make sure nothing sticks. If nothing sticks, then I know it's nice and dry. It is, it's perfect. Okay, so we're going to ink up with our Versamarker ink and we're going to do some random stamping. Okay, this is the direction my card will be facing, so I'm going to put on some large snowflakes. And once again, this is just purely random. I'm going to sprinkle on my white embossing powder. Can't quite remember where I stamped, hey? But obviously I only stamped that much. Okay, so let's heat set that. Okay, so now that I've got my background here, I'm wanting to put a silver edging around it. So I've got my Versamarker ink and I'm gently just going to apply a little bit on all four edges. And simply I'm going to apply my silver embossing powder and then I can heat set that till it melts. Okay, so this is what it now looks like with that nice silver edge around that we've got here. Now I have gone ahead and I have already die cut some of my little Marys that comes from the Merry Christmas Thinlet dies. So I've got one in glimmer or silver glimmer paper, and then I've got 3 others that are just in white. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere these on top of each other. Okay, so I've already stacked 3 of those on top. Now I'm going to add my silver Mary on top. Okay, so I've layered all these on top of each other just to add a little bit of height. This is going to go on the top here, but first I'm going to stamp a little bit of a greeting. I have a scrap piece of black cardstock. I'm going to use my embossing buddy once again. Okay, and I've got my Happy Christmas green. This comes from the Itty Bitty Christmas stamp sets, this one here. Now I do not want the word happy at all, so I am actually going to mask that off using some washi tape. Alternatively, you can stamp it and then just cut around it, but I've decided to mask it off. And as it's quite small, it is a bit tricky. Okay, ink this up in Versamarker ink, peel off that mask. I'm going to stamp this down as close to the bottom as possible. I'm going to sprinkle on some white embossing powder and then I can heat set that till that melts. Okay, so now I'm just going to simply trim this down. I'm just going to use a pair of scissors to do so. And make that nice and straight. Okay, so it's such a small greeting there. Okay, so let's bring in our card that we've got here. So my Mary is simply going to be right at the top here. So let's stick that down. Okay, and I can just simply stick a block on that to hold that in place while it dries. And then my Christmas, I'm actually going to use some Stampin' Dimensionals for that. I'm going to use some of these little baby ones, okay, to go on the back. Okay, and that's just going to tuck in right under the word Merry. And then to finish it off, I'm actually going to pop this up using some Stampin' Dimensionals. And there's our Christmas card all finished. Thank you for watching me in this series this year. I can't wait to see you next time. I'd love to see your creations. Be sure to email me and share with me what you have created during this season. Thanks again for tuning in. I can't wait to see what you've created. And I'll catch you next time in our next online class. Thanks again, and I'll catch you next time. Bye for now.
Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.